Imagine walking into an American supermarket in the middle of January. Outside, temperatures are below freezing, snow covers the streets, and almost nothing is growing in open fields. Yet inside the produce section, you find bright red tomatoes, crisp cucumbers, and colorful bell peppers that look as if they were picked on a warm summer afternoon. Most shoppers never stop to ask where these vegetables came from. Many assume they were grown somewhere in the southern United States. The reality is far more surprising. A large portion of these fresh vegetables begins its journey in a small Canadian town called Leamington, Ontario. Located near the shores of Lake Erie, this quiet community has transformed itself into one of North America's most important greenhouse farming centers. Instead of depending on the weather, local farmers created an entirely controlled environment where vegetables can grow almost year-round, even while snow blankets the ground outside. This remarkable success didn't happen overnight. More than 80 years ago, local growers realized they could no longer let Canada's harsh climate decide how much food they could produce. They invested in greenhouse technology, experimented with new growing methods, and slowly built an industry that would eventually supply millions of consumers across Canada and the United States. Today, thousands of acres of massive greenhouses stretch across the Leamington region. From above, the area looks like a sea of glass reflecting the sky. Inside these structures, advanced climate control systems carefully manage temperature, humidity, water, and light every hour of the day. The result is a level of efficiency that many traditional farms simply cannot match. What started as one community solution to a difficult climate has become a multi-billion-dollar agricultural success story. But the biggest surprise isn't just that Canada grows these vegetables. It's that the United States has quietly become dependent on them. The secret behind Leamington's success isn't richer soil or warmer weather. In fact, Canada's climate is one of the biggest farming challenges in North America. The real advantage lies inside the greenhouses themselves, where technology has replaced nature as the driving force behind food production. Modern greenhouse farms operate almost like high-tech factories. Powerful computer systems constantly monitor temperature, humidity, carbon dioxide levels, and irrigation. If sunlight becomes too intense, automated shade screens adjust instantly. When temperatures fall, heating systems maintain ideal growing conditions. Every detail is carefully controlled to help each plant reach its maximum potential. Water efficiency is another reason these farms stand out. Unlike traditional fields where much of the water disappears into the ground, greenhouse systems collect, filter, and recycle irrigation water again and again. This allows growers to produce more vegetables while using significantly less water, an advantage that has become increasingly important as droughts affect major farming regions in the United States. Pollination also works differently. Since there is no natural wind inside the greenhouses, farmers introduce colonies of bumblebees that carefully pollinate tomato and pepper flowers throughout the growing season. It's a simple but highly effective solution that keeps production running smoothly. As demand for fresh vegetables continued to grow, Leamington expanded rapidly. Greenhouses became larger, packing facilities became more advanced, and refrigerated trucks began transporting fresh produce across the border every single day. Within hours, vegetables harvested in Ontario could be sitting on supermarket shelves in cities across Michigan, Ohio, Illinois, and beyond. Today, Canada's greenhouse industry exports billions of dollars worth of vegetables every year, with the United States buying the overwhelming majority of that production. As Canada's greenhouse industry expanded, it became much more than a local farming success. Entire communities began growing around it. Companies supplying greenhouse glass, irrigation systems, climate control equipment, packaging materials, and refrigerated transportation all found new opportunities. Thousands of jobs were created, not only inside the greenhouses, but across the entire regional economy. This success also changed the relationship between Canada and the United States. Every day, trucks loaded with fresh tomatoes, cucumbers, and peppers leave Ontario and cross the border within hours. Because these vegetables are highly perishable, speed is essential. Over decades, both countries built supply chains that allow fresh produce to move quickly from Canadian farms to American supermarkets with remarkable efficiency. When trade tensions increased in recent years, many industries faced new tariffs and uncertainty. However, fresh vegetables were largely protected under the North American Trade Agreement because both governments understood an important reality. Disrupting this supply chain would not only affect farmers, it would also raise grocery prices and reduce fresh food availability for millions of families on both sides of the border. American growers have also invested heavily in greenhouse farming, especially in states like Michigan, Ohio, and Texas. Even so, many experts acknowledge that Canada's decades of experience have given its growers valuable knowledge that cannot be built overnight. Years of research, improved growing techniques, and highly skilled workers continue to provide a competitive advantage. But this success comes with challenges. Greenhouse farming depends heavily on seasonal and temporary workers who perform physically demanding jobs throughout the year. Their contribution is essential to keeping vegetables moving from farms to grocery stores. So, what can we learn from this remarkable story? It isn't simply that Canada grows tomatoes in a cold climate. The real lesson is that innovation can completely change what seems impossible. Instead of accepting short summers and long winters as permanent limitations, greenhouse growers invested in technology, research, and decades of continuous improvement. That decision transformed one small town into one of the most important food production centers in North America. Today, millions of shoppers walk through grocery stores without realizing how international their food supply really is. A tomato picked in Ontario can arrive on an American dinner table within a day, while produce grown in the southern United States may later help fill Canadian supermarket shelves during the coldest months of winter. Rather than competing every day of the year, the two countries often support each other by supplying fresh vegetables when the other faces seasonal limitations. This partnership also highlights how modern agriculture depends on far more than fertile land. Advanced technology, efficient transportation, skilled workers, and long-term planning have become just as important as sunshine and rainfall. The greenhouse industry proves that with enough determination and investment, even harsh climates can become global food suppliers. As climate change places increasing pressure on traditional farming regions through droughts, heat waves, and unpredictable weather, controlled environment agriculture is expected to play an even greater role in feeding growing populations. Greenhouses may no longer be viewed as an alternative. They could become an essential part of the future of farming. So the next time you pick up a fresh tomato in the middle of winter, take a moment to think about its journey. There's a good chance it wasn't grown under endless summer skies, but inside a carefully engineered greenhouse where science, technology, and decades of experience work together.